Week 13 is here. That means the Green Bay Packers are playing once again on Thursday Night Football. This time, Thanksgiving Eve is home against the Miami Dolphins, and it's going to be a good game for sure. The Dolphins are riding it hot, but let's see who they played. They've beaten the Patriots, who they steamrolled. They beat the Raiders, who they steamrolled them as well. They beat the Rams, who they kind of steamrolled because the Rams just had a putrid offense that night. And frankly, it's recovered a little bit since then, but still not the Rams offense that we've seen early on. But this is the first big test for the Dolphins for a while since Tua came back. So the best defense they played in the last 4 games, and the Packers defense is going to be ready for the Dolphins. Let me know what you think down below, and let's get to it. The Packers coming off another win over the 49ers. They finally beat down the 49ers, and I know, like I said in my video a couple of days ago, the 49ers fans are crying right now. Oh, we were so injured. Everybody's injured at this point. Everybody. 49ers fans just need to suck it up for the fact that the team is probably not going to make the playoffs, and that the NFL is happy about that. Let's be honest. We've seen the 49ers go to the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years. They've basically been in the NFC Championship game every year the last 5 years. It's time. It's time to have someone new in there. And at the very least right now, it's going to be the Lions, looking like they're going to be hosting a playoff game all throughout the playoffs. But the Packers, I think they're ready. They are ready to turn the corner and charge forward like they did last year. Jordan Love is ready to play like he did last year. Sure, he didn't have the best game on Sunday, but I think he should be able to dissect this defense up and down the field. Yes, the Miami Dolphins defense has certainly improved since the return of Tua, since the defense isn't constantly on the field, for sure. That certainly helps when your defense isn't on the field all the time and your offense is able to sustain drives. But even still, the Miami Dolphins are having the defense near the bottom of the league, 2/3 of the way down. They're not great at stopping the run. They're okay against the pass, but Jordan Love is going to be ready. Now, sure, Romeo Doubs probably doesn't play this week. He still have an offensive liability in Christian Watson. I mean, he's got to be able to catch the ball. Dontavian Wicks didn't have any drops last week, so that's good. Tucker Kraft had a couple of nice grabs last week as well. Packers have plenty of options, and sure, the overall receiving core may not be as good as it was last year, but they're ready. Packers are ready. They're hungry, especially after beating their long-term rival and absolutely pummeling them for the biggest win in the series history. The Packers are ready. And it all begins with the run. With the way the Packers have been able to run the ball the last couple of games, they are going to be able to run all day long over the Miami Dolphins. Josh Jacobs has a 10-yard carry in the last 7 games in the first drive of the game. Now, it's a weird stat, but it really starts your offense well. When you start running the ball well in the beginning of the game, it tends to carry on. And especially against a defense like the Dolphins, Josh Jacobs should be able to eat them alive on Thursday night. Jordan Love is coming in strong, having not thrown an interception, and he should be ready to play as well. I like Tucker Kraft to have a couple of good catches today on Thursday. I think Christian Watson will have a bounce-back game. I mean, you kind of have to come back after that drop, like the drop he had on Sunday. I mean, that was in his hands. It was most in your hands, ready for a touchdown catch you're ever going to get. You're not going to get many better passes than the one Jordan Love threw to Watson. And, yeah, the Packers are going to be ready for sure. Their offense is high-powered, ready to go, and the way they've been performing the last couple of weeks, sure, they kind of struggled against the Bears, but they came out strong last week against the 49ers, and they're going to continue this week against the Dolphins. Another defense. Defense played a great game last week. Other than that small little period at the end of the second, in the third quarter, they really held up. They caused 3 turnovers. The biggest one being the Xavier McKinney interception that really turned the corner and that allowed the Packers to really put their foot on the throat of the 49ers and push forward for a big dominating win. The Packers' rush defense has been better for sure. Devon Achane is a great running back for sure, and he's clearly the number one back in that Miami Dolphins backfield. But he didn't have a great game against the Patriots last week, and the Patriots they don't have the greatest rush defense either, but they held them up. I think the Packers are going to be able to do that a similar good job. I mean, they held up Christian McCaffrey last week to not the greatest game in the world. Sure, he had some decent runs, but it does help when Christian McCaffrey is clearly not healthy and ready to go. Secondary should be able to hold on just fine. Tyreek Hill, I know people are going to say Tyreek Hill, this is a game for them to get right, but Tyreek Hill has really been a non-factor this year, other than maybe a game or two. He really hasn't done much of anything. Jalen Waddle seems to be the number one option for Tua Tagovailoa right now. And, man, if he has another big game like that, it could spell trouble for the Packers. But I think they'll be able to keep Tua under wraps for the most part. But, even in the NFL, even the best defenses give up touchdowns. Even the best defenses give up a lot of points. It's the biggest thing about being a great defense in the NFL is forcing turnovers, stopping the teams on third downs, and preventing big plays. And the Packers have been able to do that for the most part. I mean, when you look at the Bears game a couple weeks ago, other than that big run by DeAndre Swift for a touchdown, the Bears just kind of killed them by small pieces. But that's another thing the Packers need to do, is limit these small nagging plays. The 5-yard run here, the 7-yard pass here, the 3rd and 1 play. They need to be able to stop that. Now, they have had some trouble doing that this year. And also, their red zone defense has been pretty terrible as well. But I think the Packers defense will be ready to go this week. I expect Xavier McKinney to have another interception. Now, hopefully, by the end of this game, be leading the league in interceptions once again. And, yeah, I think the Packers are ready. The Packers are definitely ready to win this game. Let's talk about the Dolphins just a little bit. Tua has been great the past couple games, for sure. And certainly, if you have him in your fantasy league, maybe he's not the best starter every week, but he's a good stash for sure. Like I said, Jalen Waddle. A lot of people, me for sure, were considering cutting Waddle just a couple weeks ago. But now after that big game on Sunday, I think it's safe to say he's earned a couple more weeks for sure. Tyreek Hill, I mean, you still keep him just because he's Tyreek Hill, but I mean, he hasn't been great. Devon Achane, if you had him, you're probably doing well in your fantasy league, and he's probably helped you win a lot of games this year. Maybe not in the middle of the season, but last couple weeks for sure, he's been a great addition, especially after the beginning of the year when Tua was out. He was basically not usable, but as soon as Tua came back, he's been fantastic. The Dolphins defense, like I said, still has its issues, still get burned when they're playing good teams, but they haven't played a good team lately. I mean, they're certainly winning a lot of games. They're certainly looking like they could steal a playoff spot in the end, but they need to keep winning. And the Dolphins are definitely going to be desperate in this game. They need a win. They need a win in a big way. And if they don't win this game, it's going to certainly hurt their chances, especially with how good the AFC has been. Spots are premium, and they're far behind they're still far behind the Broncos by like 2-3 games. They're still behind they're ahead of the Bengals right now, I would assume, but they still have a long road to go, and Dolphins will be ready to play. But like I said, they still do struggle in the cold. It will be certainly colder on Thursday night, but it's not going to be like the minus 20 cold where they really struggle. So I don't think the cold outside will affect the Dolphins too much. I think both teams will be ready to play. Both teams know what they need to do. Both teams need to keep winning to stay in their respective races, especially the Packers, and they need to keep up on the Vikings because we need someone else besides the Vikings in second place in the NFC North, because we know that Vikings they're still not that great. Even though they played well last week, they did everything possible to try and lose last week. But the Packers, go Pack, go. Packers are ready to go this week. I expect them to beat the Dolphins on Thursday night by a score of 30-24. Packers win, go to 9-3. Dolphins lose one, lose their streak, and really take a hit in terms of the AFC wildcard race because we know they're not going to win the division at this point. I think, if they lose and the Bills win, the Bills wrap up the AFC East. This is only week 13. That's pretty amazing. Especially considering how in the beginning of the year everybody was picking the Bills to finish second, third. But now they're like top dog in the AFC East, and it sure looks like they're going to beat the 49ers this week. But let me know what you think down below. Have a great day. And as always, go Pack, go. And God bless.